She's gonna be on our program for reaching out, so if you have a chance to hold that, give a chance to hold it.
I'm sorry, I'll be looking at it. Okay. Okay. We're gonna get started. And thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Bremerton Municipal Court State of the Courts Address. Today, February 16th, 2024. It is my pleasure to stand here with you today again. This is our second State of the Courts Address as I was elected in November of 2021. I feel it is very important to be able to provide information to our community on what is happening in our courts on a daily basis over the period of the year that has passed. And it is my pleasure to be able to update you on the progress that we have made with our reorganization that has taken place, and to introduce you to some changes that have been made over the last 12 months. And that begins with myself as the presiding judge, as well as our court administrator, Christina, who you see a picture of on our slides today. Christina has been with the court for over a year now and is your court administrator for the Bremerton Municipal Court. One of the things that has been a significant change over the last year is the need for security. That has increased as when I took office, we were in COVID. Clearly, the Supreme Court still had COVID orders in place, and the majority of our hearings were taking place over Zoom. Since that time, where we have opened back up significantly, we've had more foot traffic and more incidents at the Bremerton Municipal Court. So now we have 2 security officers at our court, one who is our door security officer, who is contracted, and one armed security officer for our courtrooms. We have continued to do team lunches, the last one for the holiday, and be able to reflect on how it is we continue to serve our community, continuing to promote bilingual staff. We, in the reorg, now have a position for a part-time bailiff. We have 2 senior legal technicians, 2 legal technicians 2, and 1.5 legal technicians 1. We have filled the position for our court commissioner, and we have 2 services support positions. Those services support positions are in our probation department, and our probation department has been revamped to be able to serve the whole person. So not just punitive in nature, but serving the whole individual of defendants that come through our court. We have also revamped our hours of operation. Those hours of operation continue to include being closed during the lunch hour from 12:15 to 1:15 daily. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we open at 8 a.m. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we open at 7:45. And the 7:45 timeframe accommodates being able to have more time on our video and custody calendar, as we are the first court that the Kitsap County has on their jail rosters, and there are multiple courts that utilize the Kitsap County jail staffing. And I since we've started this whole process, that the Kitsap County jail staff has not increased since I was a public defender. So they have been more accommodating and allowing us to be able to access, to have a calendar, 15 minutes to make that accommodation. So that allows for us to open here to the public as well. We close Monday through Thursday at 4:30 and on Fridays at 4 p.m. Our court covers gross misdemeanors and misdemeanors, traffic infractions. There's impound hearings, right camera calendar, and we run calendars Monday through Friday. So we are the only full-time court, municipal court in Kitsap County. Our other municipal courts are part-time courts. And in addition to the hours that I've indicated as far as calendars running, the Bremerton Police Department also supports the court in providing transportation and transports for our jail calendar to also ensure that we're able to matters that may power. Because we've been doing the program for years, someone at this time who has been involved with our resource fairs and other partnerships during this last year. And I want to bring up Ms. Reba at this time, and she's going to make some quick remarks.
Hello, my name is Reba, and I am a manager for Kids Mental Health. I run our inpatient facility, Pacific Hope and Recovery, and our residential housing program, Keller House. I'm not coming as a representative of Kids Mental Health, but as a community member. We have, been involved in the community events. But one of the biggest things that I get to be a part of, and being in this field and working for many nonprofit agencies in our community, is not really having the pleasure of people who have severe mental health or substance abuse and having good interactions with legal or systems. So, being in this field and working with individuals, I came across this person I was working with. And, they're sitting outside and they're just waiting to get in. And they had a bright, and when somebody just empowers you, but they had a light in their eyes. And they looked at me and he said, "We have a judge." And I said, "Yes, we do." And he said, "She really cares." And I said, "Yes, she does." And he said, "She's seen me. She didn't see my mental illness." So when he said that to me, this person has been constantly nonstop in systems without housing for a long time. And this time around, this individual was able to complete services. This individual was able to get into housing. This individual sees life a little differently. This individual has stayed on their medications. And I know that's one person that I've come in contact with, but there's other people and bring down here and make sure. And when they do come down here, they come back in a way of like, "Hey, I'm going to take care of some things," and that says for them to interact and be scared, because prior to them coming in or coming to court, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress that's going on. We're having to help them regulate their emotions before they come. And after, it's different. They're seeing a different light. They have some choices to make. They have a plan to make. And I want to thank you, Judge Flood, for seeing that. That means a lot. Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Reber, for providing those remarks and comments, because I feel that it is important for our community to know and to hear things that the media does not portray or report back to our community. So we continue to deal with the impact of COVID. The impact continues. We have had staff, judges that have gotten COVID more than once. We continue to deal with other illnesses that come up as well. RSV, pneumonia, flu. All of these things impact access to justice. And when we're looking at how do we access the courts, how do we continue to serve the community in making sure that individuals receive and are able to access the courts and receive a fair hearing. So as I mentioned, the remote calendars for the jail calendar. With us opening back up, the court has required more in-person appearances. And that's because of the impact of COVID, not being in person, continuing cases, hearing after hearing after hearing. Now that things have gotten better, being able to have more in-person hearings continue them along and to get their cases resolved, whether it's through a resolution with the prosecutors, whether becoming a part of the community court program, or whether it's a trial or a plea. Continuing to move the clock and move them along. In our O courts, which is our forms document that we use, continues to allow people to do the work remotely. If there's a defendant or an attorney who's working from out of county, still access the paperwork virtually through our O court system. And we continue to receive updates as the laws change, the documents are updated. We also have updated documents that are available on the court's website. And that is something that this court did not have before. As we for attorneys to make motions to appear virtually, to allow for there to be some flexibility, but we do require for the dispositions of those individuals who are in the state to be done in person. We've had challenges with public defense throughout the state, throughout the country. There's a shortage of public defenders. There's a shortage of attorneys, even in prosecutors' offices across the state. The Office of Public Defense is addressing that. Our American Bar Association is also continuing to revise cases and to shrink. Our interpretive calendar used to be held last month. We have Chinese, which is that is very hard to be able to find. The interpreter that we currently use appears remotely because they reside in Oregon. So continuing to have the virtual capabilities to be able to do hearings allows for us to be able to serve these populations and not deny them to our courts, access, and justice for all. So last year, I was excited because I had written some grants and there were some grant proposals that were coming down. We were needing an update in our courthouse. And I am proud to say that those updates have been completed. We do have a new media system. It's not perfect, but it's better than what we had. And it was within what we were able to have as far as funding through the state and the Office of the Courts. The monitors, new microphones that are wireless, that are portable and can carry around the courthouse, handheld microphones like the ones that are here. We continue to have our AD media card that's available for trial and in any emergencies that may arise. The collections process, we've been able to streamline some of our other process courts that have been taking two touches on the computer to things. And thanks to Ms. Christina being able to navigate those contracts and work those billing procedures out as well with the city and having more automation for our pro tems, whereas before things were not being processed automatically and virtually, but that is in play now. So our jury continue to be able to view the videos that the federal courts have placed out, biased, and that's viewed by every jury member before the instructions and they come out for jury selection. Next slide, please. And I want to highlight that the Bremerton Municipal Community Court, our therapy court program, addresses individual as well as substance abuse issues. It can be the by we're now to 7 participants in our community court, 3 of which have full-time jobs. And housing that has secured for it, them as individuals. The check-ins with them on a weekly basis addresses them as individual participants. There's not a one-size-fits-all. And one of our participants just graduated from ADHS in Spokane. And my heart is full because she had had several diseases. And when you're dealing with an individual that has built many systems, I'm not sure that the doctors really heard her and heard her needs. But in Spokane, we got her there. She ended up in and this individual, no matter what she was doing, she showed up for court. Whether she was under the influence, whatever was happening, she showed up for therapeutic. She'd come in, she may fall asleep, and then when I call her name, she'd say, "Good morning, Judge. I'm here, Judge." But these are the lives that we're touching, and each one of those individuals that we touch share story with someone else. And this is the focus on restorative justice, accountability, and providing resources to individuals. So we're responding to issues. We're responding to public safety, incarceration. We're connecting individual participants with mental services that they have not for whatever reason. These systems present hurdles. And another story was one of the first resource failed. He didn't have housing. That individual is our community. In 2022 and 20, we also wanted to reach our community, providing educational opportunities and I'm happy to say that we have first and we even had everybody an opportunity to be able to ask questions about careers in the justice system. And a chance to play now. I wonder if the gay system is training with bringing in security, private security companies provide security training for us. What do you do in an emergency? And we are working on our security plan. And this is important because I'm not sure how many of you have seen that video with the judge sitting on the bench and her holding her head down and making comments and the defendant leaping across the bench. There's a judge on the East Coast who was murdered last year. Judicial security is an issue. Judicial safety in every aspect is an issue in every courthouse in this country. And I would dare to say outside of this country. Continuing to work with Constitutional Day, judges in the classroom. So not only bringing them into the courthouse, but going to the classrooms. That is something that we are charged with doing as judges. Yes. Presenting a new perspective from what has been seen as this is what happens in the court. This is how you go in and to be fearful. But a new perspective of accountability. Reducing barriers to alternatives, to jail. And that includes EHM, having TAB units available through our probation department, and instituting additional options from WASPIC, which Washington State Patrol provides these things to the courts, and exploring additional options to alternatives to confinement. And with our services support specialists, providing more case management for more accountability and more support, so that those things that we are telling them to do, we're charging them with, we're requiring them to do, they're able to get done. And to stop that revolving door, because they can't get done. But also to look at things as far as how much time is being imposed on matters that are misdemeanors. If they're 90 days in jail with a maximum penalty, the maximum fine of $1,000. The court taking jurisdiction for an extended amount of time for 24 months. Is that reasonable, or does that cost taxpayers? Driving while license suspended in a third degree are matters of poverty. They've been given a ticket, maybe a few tickets, or an incident that results in them being suspended in the third degree. Some individuals may not even know that they're suspended in the third degree. But is that something that we in the Bremerton Municipal Court need to be addressing when other courts around the state don't even charge us? Now, granted, every individual case is its case, but that's something to think about when other courts don't charge that misdemeanor. Next slide. Staying ahead of the curve. Continuing to expand our therapeutic court program. Increasing the alternatives that I mentioned. And there's a picture of a young man holding the gavel from our countywide in the law firm there. Things that we've done, like the reorganization of our staff, refocusing our probation department on services to the individual, our community resource fairs, and most importantly, now providing those reports to the state when there's threats that come into our staff from individuals who come through our court, because those things are being tracked by the state, making sure the reports that need to be done are being done to ensure that security and safety stay at the forefront for not only myself as the judge, but our staff who comes to work every day. And those members of the public that access our courthouse. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And I appreciate each and every one of you in virtual land and those that are here in person. That is all, unless you have any questions. I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that this is airing on BCAT and live on the conduit, and there will be dates that it airs again. Other than today.